Your shoes are keeping a secret. Right now, sitting in your closet or by your front door, there is a pair of shoes that has been quietly recording every step you have taken for months, maybe years. And if you flip them over and look at the bottom, you might see a warning sign. A warning sign that could predict a hip fracture, a broken wrist, a fall that changes everything. I know that sounds dramatic, but after 30 years of practicing medicine, after treating thousands of patients over the age of 60, I have learned something that most people never think about. Your shoe soles are like a flight recorder on an airplane. They capture data about every single step. They record how your foot lands. They show how your weight shifts. They reveal patterns you cannot feel and changes you cannot see. And those patterns matter. They matter more than most people realize. Every single day in this country, thousands of adults over 60 experience a fall. Many of those falls result in serious injuries, broken hips that require surgery, fractured wrists that take months to heal, head injuries that change lives forever. And here is what breaks my heart. So many of those falls were preventable. The warning signs were there. They were right there on the bottom of a pair of worn shoes. But nobody thought to look. Today, that changes for you. I want to be very clear about something before we go any further. This video is not about making you afraid. Fear does not help anyone. Fear makes people anxious and hesitant. That is not what I want for you. This video is about awareness. It is about giving you information you did not have before. Information that puts you in control. Because here is the truth I have seen proven countless times. Falls are not inevitable. Balance is not something that simply disappears with age. Balance can be protected. Balance can be improved. And sometimes the first step toward protecting yourself is simply knowing what to look for. So stay with me. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly what your shoe soles reveal about your fall risk. You will know why these patterns matter, and you will have specific actions you can take to address whatever you find. Let us start with something I need you to do right now. I want you to pause this video. Yes, actually pause it. Go find the pair of shoes you wear most often. Not your dress shoes, not shoes you barely use. I want the sneakers or walking shoes that have been with you through hundreds or thousands of steps. The ones that have really lived with you. Go get them now. I will wait right here. While you are finding those shoes, let me tell you why this matters so much. Most people replace their shoes based on how they look on the outside. If the upper part still looks decent, they keep wearing them. But here is what most people miss entirely. The sole of your shoe breaks down long before the outside shows wear. The cushioning compresses. The tread wears smooth. And most importantly, uneven wear patterns develop that can actually make your balance worse with every step. Think about it this way. You would never drive a car with bald tires, right? Especially not in rain or on slippery roads. You understand that tire tread is what keeps you connected to the road, what keeps you safe. Your shoe soles work exactly the same way. They are your connection to the ground. And when that connection is compromised, everything above it is affected. Okay, do you have your shoes now? Perfect. Let us take a look together. Hold your shoes up in front of you with the soles facing you. Take a moment to really look at them. Notice where the wear is heaviest. Notice where the sole still has texture versus where it has become smooth. Notice whether both shoes look the same or different. Now let me walk you through the 4 main patterns I look for. Understanding these patterns is like learning to read a language your body has been speaking through every step you take. The first pattern is what I call normal wear. This is what we hope to see. Normal wear appears primarily on the outer edge of the heel and spreads relatively evenly across the ball of the foot. Why does healthy walking create this pattern? Because in a balanced gait, your heel strikes the ground slightly toward the outer edge first, then your foot rolls smoothly inward. Then you push off evenly through the ball of your foot and toes. If your shoes show this pattern, It suggests your basic walking mechanics are working well. Your foot is absorbing shock appropriately. Your weight is distributing evenly. The chain reaction from your feet up through your ankles, knees, and hips is functioning as it should. But here is an important note. Even normal wear patterns become a problem when the sole wears too thin or loses its texture. So even if your pattern looks good, check the depth of the tread. Run your fingers across the sole. If it feels smooth like a worn eraser instead of textured and grippy, it may be time for new shoes regardless of the wear pattern. The second pattern is what we call overpronation. This shows up as heavy wear along the inner edge of your shoes, from the inner heel all the way up to the big toe area. Let me explain what this pattern means for your body. When you overpronate, your foot rolls too far inward with each step. Imagine your foot as the foundation of a building. When that foundation tilts inward, what happens to everything above it? The whole structure shifts. Your ankle collapses inward slightly, your lower leg rotates, your knee gets pulled out of its proper alignment. Often this creates what people call knock knees, where the knees drift toward each other, and your hip has to work overtime to compensate for all of this. Over months and years, this pattern creates stress on joints that were not designed to handle it. Many people with heavy innerwear patterns report chronic knee pain without ever connecting it to their feet. They might even report hip discomfort or lower back aches. The problem appears far from the source, but it all starts at the ground. If you see this pattern on your shoes, it does not mean anything is broken or wrong with you. It means your feet have developed a movement habit that puts extra stress on certain structures, and habits can be changed. We will talk about how shortly. The third pattern is called supination or underpronation. This shows up as heavy wear concentrated on the outer edge of your shoes, not just at the heel where it belongs, but continuing along the outer edge through the entire sole. When you supinate, your foot stays rolled outward throughout your step. It does not make that smooth inward roll that helps absorb shock. Think of it like a car with very stiff suspension. Every bump in the road transfers directly through the frame, nothing cushions the impact. People with this pattern often have higher arches. Their feet are more rigid, and because the foot is not absorbing shock properly, that force travels straight up through the ankle, knee, and hip. This pattern significantly increases your risk of ankle sprains. When your foot habitually stays on its outer edge, it takes very little to roll it even further and twist the ankle. Many people with chronic ankle instability show exactly this wear pattern on their shoes. Again, if this is what you see, do not be alarmed, be informed. You now know something about your body that you can address. The fourth pattern is the one I consider most important to recognize: asymmetry. This means the wear pattern on your left shoe looks significantly different from the wear pattern on your right shoe. Put both of your shoes side by side right now. Compare them carefully. Is one heel worn down much more than the other? Is the pattern on your left foot completely different from your right? This asymmetry is often the most significant warning sign because it tells us something is different between how your two sides function. Perhaps one hip is weaker than the other. Perhaps you had an old injury that changed how you use one leg. Perhaps one leg is actually slightly longer. Perhaps you are protecting one side without even realizing it. When you walk with significant asymmetry, your brain is constantly making extra calculations. It is working harder to keep you balanced because each step is different. And when something unexpected happens, a curb you did not see, a slippery spot on the floor, your balance system is already working overtime. It has less reserve capacity to catch you. I had a patient named Robert who came to see me after a fall in his garage. He was 73 years old, generally healthy, and confused about why he had fallen. When I asked him to bring in his walking shoes, the answer was written right there on the soles. His left heel was worn down nearly to nothing. His right shoe looked almost new by comparison. Robert had been limping slightly for over 2 years. So slightly he had stopped noticing. But his shoes noticed. They recorded every uneven step. Eventually, his balance could not compensate anymore. If you see asymmetry in your shoes, please pay attention. It is worth mentioning to your doctor and exploring why one side is working differently than the other. Now let me explain why shoe wear patterns affect so much more than just your feet. This is something called the kinetic chain. I know that sounds like medical jargon, but the concept is beautifully simple. Your body works as a connected system. What happens at one joint affects every joint above and below it. Think of it like a chain. If one link moves, every other link has to adjust. Your feet are the foundation of this chain. They are the first point of contact with the ground. Every bit of information about the surface you are walking on enters your body through your feet first. When your feet are working well, landing balanced, and absorbing shock properly, that good information travels up the chain. Your ankles work efficiently, your knees track correctly, your hips stay stable, your spine maintains its alignment, and your brain receives accurate data about where you are in space. But when your feet are compromised, when they are landing unevenly or failing to absorb shock, that problematic information travels up the chain too. Your ankles have to compensate. Your knees get stressed. Your hips work overtime. Your spine twists slightly, and your brain receives distorted data. Think again about the car analogy. If your front tires are worn unevenly, it does not just affect the tires. The steering pulls to one side, the suspension wears differently, the whole vehicle is less stable. Your body works exactly the same way. This is why a wear pattern on your shoe sole can relate to neck tension or headaches or balance problems that seem to have nothing to do with your feet. Everything is connected. So what can you do about this? Let me share 4 specific activities that can help address the patterns we discussed. These are designed to improve foot strength, ankle mobility, and overall stability. Before we begin, let me say something important. Please approach these gently. If anything causes pain, stop immediately. If you have significant balance concerns, do these near a wall or sturdy chair you can hold. There is no rush. Slow and controlled is always better than fast and unsteady. The first activity is called toe yoga. This helps wake up the small muscles inside your feet that have probably been dormant for years. Sit in a sturdy chair with your bare feet flat on the floor. Start with all your toes relaxed on the ground. Now, try to lift only your big toe while keeping your other 4 toes pressed down. Just the big toe lifts, the others stay. This is harder than it sounds. Your brain might not be used to controlling your toes independently. You might find that all your toes want to lift together. That is completely normal. It means this is exactly what you need to practice. Hold the big toe up for 3 seconds. Then lower it. Now try the opposite. Press your big toe down while lifting your other 4 toes. Again, hold for 3 seconds. The common mistake here is tensing your whole leg or gripping with your foot. Try to keep everything relaxed except the specific toes you are moving. Breathe normally. Do not hold your breath. And do not look down the whole time. Once you learn the movement, practice feeling it rather than watching it. If you cannot isolate the movements at first, that is okay. Just attempting the movement starts building new brain pathways. Over time, control will come. The second activity is intentional ankle circles. This restores mobility to ankles that have become stiff from years of limited movement. Stay seated in your chair. Lift one foot slightly off the ground. Just a few inches is fine. Now make slow, deliberate circles with your foot. Imagine you are drawing a perfect circle in the air with your big toe. Make 5 circles in one direction, then 5 circles in the other direction. Then switch feet. The key word here is intentional. Most people rush through ankle circles, making sloppy, incomplete movements. I want you to move slowly. Make each circle as round and full as possible. Feel the stretch and movement in every part of the circle. The common mistake is making tiny, half-hearted circles. Push gently into the edges of your range of motion. Where does the ankle feel tight? Spend a little extra time in that zone. Breathe into it. If full circles are too challenging, start with just pointing your toe forward and pulling it back. Then add side-to-side movement. Build towards circles gradually. The third activity is called short foot or sometimes doming. This specifically strengthens your arch and helps correct that overpronation pattern we discussed. Sit with your feet flat on the floor, relax your toes completely. Now, imagine you are trying to shorten your foot by drawing the ball of your foot back toward your heel. But here is the important part. Your toes stay flat on the ground. They do not curl or grip. What you are doing is lifting your arch, creating a dome in the middle of your foot. You should feel the muscles on the bottom of your foot working. Hold this dome position for 5 seconds. Release. Repeat 10 times on each foot. The common mistake is curling your toes. The toes must stay flat and relaxed. All the work should come from the arch itself. If you cannot feel your arch lifting at first, place one finger gently under your arch. Try to push up against your finger without moving your toes. This exercise might feel impossible at first. The muscles that lift your arch have probably been sleeping for decades. Be patient. Even attempting the movement starts waking them up. The fourth activity is calf stretching with proper form. Tight calves restrict ankle mobility, which affects everything up the chain. Stand facing a wall at arm's length. Place both hands on the wall for support. Step one foot back about 2 feet while keeping both heels on the ground. Your front knee bends slightly. Your back knee stays straight. You should feel a stretch in the calf of your back leg. Hold for 30 seconds, then switch legs. Now here is what most people miss. For a complete calf stretch, you also need to stretch with your back knee slightly bent. This targets a different muscle called the soleus. So, after your straight knee stretch, keep the same position but bend your back knee slightly while keeping your heel down. You will feel the stretch lower, closer to your ankle. The common mistake is letting your back heel rise off the ground. Keep it pressed down. That is where the stretch happens. Also, do not hold your breath. Breathe slowly and let the muscle release with each exhale. If standing is too challenging for balance, you can do a seated calf stretch with a towel looped around the ball of your foot. These 4 activities take about 10 minutes total. If you practice them 3 or 4 times per week, you will likely notice improvements in foot control and ankle mobility within a few weeks. But more importantly, you will be building strength in the foundation of your entire balance system. Now, let me leave you with this thought. Your shoes have been telling a story about where you have been, about the thousands of steps that brought you to today. Those wear patterns are not something to be ashamed of. They are information. They are your body communicating with you in a language you now understand. But here is what matters most. You get to write what happens next. The wear patterns on your old shoes do not dictate your future. They show you where to focus your attention. They reveal what needs strengthening. They point the way toward better balance and greater confidence. Falls are not inevitable. I have seen patients in their 70s, 80s, even 90s improve their balance through attention and consistent practice. The human body retains remarkable capacity for adaptation at every age. You have taken an important step today. You learned something new. You looked at something you had probably never examined before. That awareness is powerful. Before you go, I would love to hear from you. Look at your shoes one more time. In the comments below, tell me what you found. Are you an inner wearer with that overpronation pattern? An outer wearer with supination? Maybe you discovered asymmetry between your left and right shoes? Share what you learned. Your experience might help someone else who is watching. If this video gave you something valuable today, please consider giving it a thumbs up. That simple action helps more people find this information when they need it. And if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, I warmly invite you to join us. We share new videos regularly, all focused on helping you live with strength, confidence, and independence. Remember this: your feet are your foundation. Everything builds up from there. Take care of that foundation, and you take care of everything above it. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Take good care of yourself, and I will see you in the next video.